Yeah, I was nervous. Those moments are always nervous. You both done them. I mean, it's like you're sitting there, they're behind the glass, and they're going, okay, amaze us.
Right.
And I don't want the world to see me.
Welcome back to Dead Wax.
Today we're listening to Goo Goo Dolls' Iris.
With one of the greatest session guitarists of all time. This is Tim Pierce. He's a legendary session guitarist. He was named one of the top 10 studio guitarists in history by Guitar World magazine. He's played on over 1,000 records, including Elton John, Christina Aguilera, Bruce Springsteen, and so many more. He also has an incredible YouTube channel. Go check him out. Here we go. Let's dive right in and take a listen.
All right.
Iris.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken.
You are on so much of this song.
It's not all me, but it was probably the luckiest day of my life as far as playing on a song.
Oh my
that got
God.
played the most, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
the biggest song that you are this heavily featured on?
I think it's the biggest song I've ever played on as far as airplay. I looked yesterday, and even now it's 985 million streams. It's approaching 1 billion streams.
Oh my God.
And even during the time, for 18 months after we did it, it was more played than any song anywhere for about 18 months.
How, I mean, was this in that movie City of Angels?
That's right.
It was.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the scene, like, she's like riding the bike and then she gets hit by a car, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
It is so cinematic. It is such a tragic song.
There's
And
like 4 minutes of space in the middle of this song where nothing is, it feels like it was written for a movie.
It was. They wrote it for the movie.
They did write it for the movie.
They were asked to write a song for the movie. Johnny was, yeah.
Wow.
And Alanis Morissette. And Rob Cavallo produced 2 kind of big singles for the movie, and this was one of them. And it was the first day I met Rob. It was a total fluke. It was just the right place at the right time.
How'd you meet him?
So I got a call. They asked me to play mandolin, and I thought, okay, there's no way I'm going to show up with a little case to work on this big song with this big rock band.
They sent you the demo or what?
No. Guys.
So you didn't know the song before?
No, that's just winging it. That's sitting there winging it.
You show up to the studio, you get into the control room, and they play you what they have?
Yeah.
What did
were
they
there
have
strings
so far?
yet? Was there
Not yet, not strings.
So it was just guitar and bass
but-
and drums.
It
vocals.
was guitars and bass and drums. Yeah, exactly. So it's even a little more serious than that. You're sitting there by yourself in a heavily air-conditioned tracking room that's meant for, 17, 20 musicians. You're by yourself. There's a microphone. They're all behind the glass. They put up the track. I've scratched out a chart, and I'm going, breathe, breathe, breathe.
And the whole band is behind the glass.
Yeah.
So you were
watching you.
nervous?
I was nervous. Those moments are always nervous. You both done them. I mean, it's like you're sitting there, they're behind the glass, and they're going, okay, amaze us.
Right.
They didn't say that, did they?
No, but that's
Okay, but that's what it feels
That's
like.
what it feels
And
like,
that's-
right?
yeah.
You're hired, as a studio musician, you're hired to be part of things, which is to fit in, but you're also hired to create events that are memorable.
I mean, this little guy is doing so much work, is doing so much heavy lifting on this song.
Is that the Mando?
No, it's a different Mando,
Okay.
so I'll explain that in a second, but it was just 3 takes. I'm looking at this chart that I scratched
Wait,
out.
you got 3 takes?
3 takes.
That was it?
on the mandolin?
Yeah.
And was that the first thing you did?
Did they give you feedback between takes? Did they say a little bit more like
Well,
this,
it's
a
kind
little
of
bit
like,
less of that?
that was really cool. Let's do another one. Yeah, that was really cool. Let's do another one. Cool.
And so you just came up with that descending line.
Yes.
Maybe we should start there. Should we start on the?
Absolutely. So it was a different mandolin. It was a flat iron.
So you kicked it off right out of the gate. Listen to this Mando part right at the beginning.
Yeah, it became a signature.
Okay, so now let's hear just the Mando by its.
It was a different mandolin that I sold to a Goo Goo Dolls fan with a letter. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I was just winging it, doing colors, doing answers, and then Jack Joseph Puig, he mixed this for 3 days.
Wow.
And he took the comp and he carefully grabbed what he thought all the best events were with Rob Cavallo. So they took a comp, but this stayed.
Where is that section? I recognize that part, obviously.
It's at the top, and then there's a reintro. So it's
Wait.
at the very top.
Yeah. It's such a nice part. And that just came out of you, take one, take two,
That
just
was
in
the
the
job,
studio.
yeah.
There's not.
That was the job.
There's not. Who did the string arrangement?
Okay, this is great. David Campbell. So
Okay.
David, I did tons of records with David after this because this is one of those moments, not only do you do the session and the song, but you meet people that you worked with for 20 years. And two of those people were Rob Cavallo and Alan Sides. And Rob and Alan always used David for strings on their songs. So often I would play guitar parts and David would write orchestral parts around them. It was so fun. So fun. Yeah, this is David Campbell with a 35-piece.
So wait, so you would play a guitar part, and then somebody would hear that and say, "We're gonna turn that into an orchestral part
David would
and
do
add
that.
oboes, and David would texturize it
that.
and make it."
Yeah.
There's
You know who else
not-
does that right now? I think
Wonderful.
is Andy Schauf. I don't know if you know those records. But wonderful singer-songwriter. I hear the parts, often there's orchestral elements, winds. He uses a lot of winds, like clarinet and stuff like that. And it's often doubling guitar parts. And I just wonder if they're
Yeah.
in the studio and then they just bring in winds to kind of texturize some of the recordings.
Yeah.
Well, you know how the best idea wins all the time. So you're looking for ideas all the time, and David was open to everything. So,
But your answers to the vocal are integral. Integral.
Yeah.
Which do you say?
Right. I would say intergrapulous.
Okay.
With
They're
the song.
intergrapulous to the song. Can you play? I wrote down a couple of these moments before verse 2. Play before verse 2. Those
So
little
nice.
answers are the song.
Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I
You're the drum fill going into the chorus.
It takes you into the chorus.
Yeah.
that's the idea. You know, you make a ramp. They would do that on a laptop now, but I had to do
Right.
it. analog.
You're doing it manually.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Is like
Right.
you're doing so much work,
Yeah.
producerial work.
And wait,
with,
can I
with
just
that
call
instrument.
out? This is a complicated song. This is not a simple song. Harmonically, I think it's this kind of 1-flat-6 thing. But from a rhythmic perspective,
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
transitioning
Yes.
4/4 and 6/8 seamlessly without
Yeah.
any cues or
Yeah.
breaks.
And
You're
dropped
just
bars.
drop
Yeah.
bars, time
And there's
signature
all these.
changes.
Yeah.
This
these-
is a complex thing to hear the first time. And now it's part of our culture and we know it and we can all sing it. But like, I imagine hearing this for the first time in a studio.
I wonder if. Are you sure that dropped bar wasn't something
A
to
cut?
do with picture? Like they needed it to land on a certain.
Could be.
Oftentimes
I
they'll
could
drop
get,
a beat.
Yeah, I
you
could
know.
get back to you on that, but I don't remember. At the time, I was just breathing very deeply.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
trying to
I've been there.
get
I've
it
been
done.
there. I know that feeling.
And my chart was not accurate, so they had to punch in a couple of times. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You go in, there's no chart.
Right.
I mean, this is a complicated thing. And they go, are you ready to play? Well, let me do a takedown. You go, oh my God, there's
Yeah.
Do you like being a session player? Like, is that work rewarding for you and
Very,
fun for you?
yeah, very, very.
Why? What do you like about it?
my love of music comes from 60s pop radio, top 40 radio. And so to me, it was always the song. I've talked to you about this.
Yeah.
It was always the song and the guitar part, how magically it would interweave with everything. So to be in the studio and work on a singer's song, it was my dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to orchestrate guitar parts for songwriters. That's
I love the way you just said that, even thinking it as orchestrating guitar parts.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's-
You're
Yeah.
asking Michael Jordan, like, so do you like playing basketball? Is that something you enjoy?
Okay, speaking of guitar parts, let's talk about the guitar for this song. Walk us through the tuning.
Was this the exact guitar you used?
I didn't do it.
Okay.
This is Johnny Resnick.
So
I
this is
can't
him
take
playing
credit.
the guitar.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
one of his brilliant things is, in order to like be fresh as a songwriter, he would do all these crazy tunings. So this guitar is all D's and then a B.
So crazy.
So,
So wait, do that again. Do that. Wait,
Okay.
do each string again. Okay, D, D. Now down the octave. Now down another octave. Now down a minor third. That is.
Oh no.
yeah.
Yeah. So this low string, just for all you novices out there, this is a full fourth below what this string would normally be.
Usually
playing.
tuned here,
Yes.
Yeah.
but it's here.
Right.
And they did use a heavier string. This one's
Okay.
not that heavy, but it doesn't matter for this. And even the tuning, the wide tuning actually helps it. It sounds like
Totally.
It should.
It sounds like all chorusy, and it sounds like
Yes,
two
yeah.
guitars playing.
It sounds like 4 guitars.
Yeah.
It sounds like 4 12 strings.
Exactly.
Well, I think they probably snuck in some doubles in there.
Can we hear that part by
Yeah.
itself? Yeah.
That's so interesting. If I heard that, I would probably say, yeah, that's a double track on the acoustic guitar because of the pitch differential between those Ds.
Yeah.
Right? It starts to feel like a double track.
Works
So you
great.
have all these common tones happening, and then the bass, right, is doing this at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now that's the
bass is
arrangement.
going.
That's the bridge that they all created together. Because Johnny's demo was very simple. Johnny's demo was in 6/8, but there were no changes. There were no variations. There was
I
none
see.
of this musical stuff going on.
Okay, so he was using the same chords over
Yes.
and over again
Yeah.
in his demo. That makes sense. Yeah.
And the entire bridge didn't exist.
I mean, the bridge is, I can't believe how much this song got played on the radio, because the bridge, you could go make breakfast and come back and the bridge would still be happening. The bridge is so long.
But that's part of what is
and then there's
so-
a solo after it.
That's what's so special about it. And I think what's so special about this song, and one of the things that makes it so cinematic is the arc, right? The song
yeah.
has a
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
And it takes you to this place. And part of that is the patience and the pacing of the song and the way it unfolds over time. And the lengthy bridge is a big piece of what gets your juices
I don't know,
flowing.
man. I would appreciate an edit without that lengthy bridge, to be honest. I love your solo.
you
I love
gotta
your
be
solo.
There is
joking
one.
me.
There was a single edit. I'm not sure
Okay,
what they
there
took
was
out.
a single edit.
I think
That's
they took
right.
out the slide solo.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah,
That
there is
makes
an
sense.
edit.
I feel like they probably, because I remember hearing that slide solo. I wonder if they took out the part before the slide solo.
Yeah, there were 2 versions because I saw it on Spotify last week.
But the textures between the jangly ass guitar, the mandolin, which is just another jangly thing. And then the slide, and then all this, like this sort
Sharp
of
4 kind of stuff.
yeah, all the Lydian and the 9.
yeah.
It's just like it's pulling on
All the
all of the
heartstrings.
emotion.
Yes.
Yeah, literally, it's pulling on the strings and the heartstrings.
One of my favorite chords is a minor ninth chord. Probably you guys too. I mean, major 7th, major 9th.
It's a
minor
vibe.
ninth.
It's a
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the slide solo, they actually were angry with me because, as I said, I didn't want to walk in with this little case to
Right.
this major rock session. So back then, I had a cartage company, and a truck would bring a massive amount of gear.
Oh my God.
And I found out way after the fact that they were boiling mad at me for filling the room with amps and guitars. And Rob said, just, it's okay. Let's just see what happens. And then the stuff was sitting there. And I think because I did well on the mandolin, Rob and Johnny met in the hallway and said, well, just give him a shot. Let's see what he does.
Yeah.
Because there was space for a solo.
Yeah, you did all their work for them. They didn't have to do anything else.
Can we hear that? Let's
He did
listen
plenty.
to that guitar solo.
Thank you, though.
Here we go. Let's listen to the guitar solo one more time. So this is you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Fuck, that's
Yeah.
so nice.
Oh!
I love that.
Speaking of a minor
Dude,
9.
I can't
Exactly.
believe you fucking played that. That solo is so epic and so good in that section. I love that.
What guitar was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a Les Paul.
Okay.
And it was a matchless Clubman, which is the first matchless head that I got.
Okay.
It's a 412 Marshall cabinet in the room,
In the room.
in the tracking room.
the tracking room. Okay,
wasn't
yeah,
def-
yeah,
it was
yeah,
jet
yeah.
engine loud somewhere else. Okay?
Right.
And then I think I used a hot cake, which
Okay.
is a little Australian boost pedal that I
Yeah,
don't have anymore.
yeah.
But I think it was mostly a first take when we fixed the ending. And so
It's a beautiful melody.
It's such a beautiful melody.
and you improvise that?
yeah.
Wait, there's one note that sounded different to me. Can we listen to this one?
Oh,
more
I
time?
didn't do all of it. I abbreviated it.
Oh, okay. Because there's one moment in particular.
I know the one. That's the one you like. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's such a. Oh, it just pulls it out of you.
Okay, guitar nerd question. I notice as you're playing that slide part, you're not muting behind the slide, right?
I'm not-
Your fingers are up behind the slide.
Let's see. What are you seeing here?
These
Oh,
fingers, right?
I'm muting over here.
No, yes.
These
Yeah.
fingers.
So I'm quieting the strings with the side of my palm here. And that's why I don't have to do it up here. So
And
this
so
silence
do you
is
ever
low ones.
do you ever mute behind the slide with these two fingers?
No.
You
no.
don't.
I'm just, my slide playing is basically, I'm kind of faking it.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean,
Thank you.
it's a cool sound. It's slightly different than I've seen in the past.
It's slightly different than what you've seen. in the past.
Okay, Jack.
Sorry.
So the idea
Can we get the other host in here?
is to find the notes that make you react the way you did. Just like-
Right.
and for me, it was
Yeah.
what note is going to be the most powerful thing at the end of this solo?
Yes.
It's the minor ninth.
Is
I
the
think.
minor nine.
Yeah.
Because it feels unrequited.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the same, it's the story in the film.
Well,
It doesn't resolve. It feels like it never goes back to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she died
Yeah.
on the bike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also an 11th chord, or, A over B, so that's part of it too. So it's three notes that are floating and don't resolve.
Right.
Yes. I have a friend who would write, anytime a chord like that was in a song, he would write a palm tree.
Ooh. I like it. We use that chord all the time. What's
love
cool
it.
about the way it's used here is that it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
a minor. We normally use it in the case of
Yeah.
that sort of version of it.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
So
Was there other stuff that you did on this track that didn't get used?
No, they used everything.
Wow.
I was in and out of there. That was it.
How long was the session?
Probably 2 hours. Mostly me showing up, saying hi, writing a chart, sitting out in this frozen tracking room.
And when you left, did you think, man, I killed that?
You never know.
Yeah. You don't
You
know what
just
they're going to
never
use.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, you never know.
That's bizarre that like you recorded that solo and those mandolin parts and left and were like, well, I guess I'll go have lunch. Like, what the hell?
Did
That's
you-
so weird.
Well,
Did
people
you-
are so nice and enthusiastic. And in the moment, here's the thing. You record something and they live with it for 4 weeks. That's when they might decide to redo it because
Right.
in the moment, everybody's loving it.
Right.
Yeah.
But as you live with it and you're making a record, sometimes it can not make the
Exactly.
cut.
Did you, when you heard that song, did it sound like a hit? Can you predict a hit when you hear it?
I don't think I can, but it was a big deal because the movie people were there. The music supervisor, Alan Sides, legendary engineer. I knew they were going to do strings. I knew it was going to be a big song in a big movie.
Did you get more calls after doing this session? Did you start to get more work and more gigs? Did people say like,
Yes.
damn, I want that slide player?
Yes. Heck yes.
Was it a lot more
Yes.
slide work in particular? Okay.
No. The thing about doing icing on the cake on a song like this is you can get more credit than you really warrant. And because the guitars were amazing on the song, I remember doing a Faith Hill record after that.
Yeah.
And they were in love with that song, and I played on that song, so there I was. Yeah.
And when they said, okay, we need a solo, did you try something before slide, or were you hearing the slide part in your head, and so that was the first thing you grabbed for?
Okay, so I'm thinking survival at that point, and I'm with this band that's really a punk band.
Yeah.
And their credibility is really important to them. And I'm thinking, okay, what is the most basic thing I can go for that's not guitarist ego-centric?
Right.
Slide.
Yes.
Just an
So it
instinct.
was the first thing you did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what's interesting too about this part, like, this is like, we're at the climax of the song. It's building, it's huge, it's fucking strings, it's orchestral, it's like this massive part of the song, and you do bum 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 bum. You hold a note
There's a ton of space.
for like 3 seconds.
Ton of space in the song.
Bum, da da. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like instead of shredding and doing some bluesy thing and whatever, it's this incredibly lyrical, musical kind of
Yes.
line. You added a new melody to the song.
Where was the shred, Tim?
Well, that-
Where was the shredding?
I think that's why I worked so much, is because I could always tell, you can kind of, it was empathy. You have empathy for the people in the room, what they're trying to do. And they didn't want any,
Shredding.
yeah, they wanted a melody. They wanted,
Did you know that? How did you know that?
I think that's the reason I worked so much, because I was able to kind of intuit what people
Well, plus
really wanted.
Even the way you're talking about what you do, like the words that you've been using.
Orchestrating,
Like
yeah.
I love orchestrating guitar parts for people. Like everything you do is in service of the song. It's not about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about your chops. It's not about what you can play. I mean, those are the people that work. The people that can come into a room, read it, be friendly, be easy to work with, be prepared. You brought a lot more stuff than they asked for, and you served the song. I mean, if I was that producer, yeah, you did all his work for him. I would have called you back, of course.
Rob is a friend of mine. We work together to this day.
Yeah.
It ended up, it was the best. For that, we did tons of Phil Collins after that, tons of new artists, tons of movie songs.
Since you've played on so many recordings, so many records, what are some highlights? Like, what are you most proud of that you've done in terms of albums you've played on, or artists you've worked with, or tours, or whatever? What would you play for someone who didn't know?
Okay, it's this song. It's also Crowded House, Don't Dream It's Over.
Hey now, don't dream it's over.
That song got me a ton of work, because that's after that song I graduated to kind of studio work full time. I played on Bon Jovi's first single, which still, I used to hear it in Trader Joe's all the time. It's called Runaway.
Daddy's girl and fast, all those things he couldn't say.
When I was 23 years old.
Wow.
Got to mention it, because
Yeah,
a lot of people
yeah.
thought it was Richie Sambora, and it was a demo that ended up on his first record.
That's awesome.
With Phil Collins, we did a song called You'll Be in My Heart. And because
Oh,
Phil was an
yeah.
actor, he won the Academy Award for that song.
I love that song.
Yes, you'll be in my heart.
And I tracked with them. And you can imagine, I walked into that room, and
Is
there
that
he
from
was.
Tarzan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a good song.
And we did 5 years of work with him after that.
Wow.
So it was really, really
Who
wonderful.
called you for that session?
It was Rob Cavallo. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Those
part of
those relationships are important.
So check it out. So this song and Doing Well on This Day led
Yeah.
to Phil Collins. And that's how
Right.
it works.
Right.
So it was a lot more than just one song.
So cool.
Are you
Okay.
listening to anything recently that you're excited about? Any new songs that you think are just...
Yeah, what's been on repeat in the Pierce
Okay,
household?
it's not new, but I did a video recently, Sowing the Seeds of Love with Tears for Fears. Okay, so
Great
it's
band.
kind of what we're talking about here. That song, the album version, 6.5 minutes. The short version is over 5 minutes. It has a middle section with 5 different bridges, 5 movements, and 2 turnarounds. Check it out next time you listen to it. A lot of it's
God.
instrumental. There's an opera singer that shows up. There's Hammond organ. It was a time when you could actually really do extended
Yeah.
stuff.
And get away with that.
And chordally in the verses, they're really pretty chords, major 7ths, 11ths.
Cool.
Yeah, so not a new song, but that's
love
what I've been
that.
listening to lately.
What do you got, Jack?
Kalimankou by the Bulgarian State Television Female Choir. Incredible, mind-bending record. Not Western scales, not Western pitch bend techniques.
This is a good rec. This is a strong rec.
Unbelievably emotional. I mean, actually, it does a similar thing to me as this song. It tears me to pieces listening to these women sing. It's just the most beautiful choir you've ever heard.
Love that. Mine is the song Paul by Big Thief. Do you know this band,
I
Big
don't
Thief?
know.
Great band.
Great guitar player. Buck Meek is his name. Plays cool guitars.
She plays guitar too.
And she's a cool guitar player.
amazing guitar player.
But really cool songwriting, like lyrically, melodically, all the important stuff she's got. And I love this song. It's called Paul.
Yeah, we hopped inside my car and I drove in circles round the freight train yard.
Before we go, well, two things before we go. The first thing is I want to plug Tim's channel, because Tim is not only an amazing guitar player who's played on everything, but he's an incredible YouTuber who makes incredible videos, and you have a course.
Yeah.
You have a course with, like, how many videos do you have in your course?
1,700 plus.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. If you are a guitar player, go check out Tim's course.
Thank you.
Because you just have such a great way of explaining things.
Appreciate it.
That's very easy to digest and understand.
And I'll just say, if you like this channel, you will most certainly like Tim's channel. Because
Absolutely.
you can listen to this channel, you can watch the channel, and spend 3 minutes with it. I'll be damned if you don't walk away with like 5 things that you can do in your own music, in your own compositions, that will just make you feel a sense of freshness as you're writing. So absolutely love the channel. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And second thing, will you sign Wall Simon
yes.
for us?
Yes.
Wall Simon, the Red Diamond.
Okay.
You can sign next to Lewis Cole there, or Narada Michael Walden.
Oh man, good stuff.
Sign next to Tony Berg. There you go. Love it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. This has been another episode of Dead Wax. Thank you for watching. If you have ideas for what we should listen to next, please leave them in the comments below, and we will see you next week.